Perfect. 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 Ben Simmons has obviously been the talk of the town lately. You know, what is going to happen to Ben Simmons this offseason? Does he get traded? Does he return to Philadelphia and work on his game? He's skipping the Olympics. Can we get a lot of value back for Ben? All these questions are being stirred up in the recent week and a half, especially after the Sixers went down the way they did in the second round of the playoffs. But today we look at some comments from a certain teammate of Ben Simmons that kind of go and prove some of the beliefs that we have come to make about Ben Simmons this year. What is going on, everybody? RB here. Welcome on into Philly Take with RB. You know what to do. Smash that like, hit that subscribe if you're new, and ding that notification bell. That way you are instantly notified anytime I upload or go live. We'll be covering the entire Sixers offseason. A lot of things to talk about coming up very, very soon. But today, before we get right into that, we start with a bit of heartfelt news, a bittersweet moment for Philadelphia Sixers fans everywhere. Legendary broadcaster Marc Zumoff, honestly the voice of the Sixers, is retiring after 27 years in the booth, man. And Marc Zumoff, he's called over 2,100 games for the Philadelphia 76ers. 2,100. Some of the most iconic calls of all time. AI. You know, I mean, this guy goes back so far. And if you love the Sixers, anywhere you live, if you watch any Sixers games, you know who Marc Zumoff is. He's one of the greatest to ever do it. He's one of the greatest of all time in sports, in my opinion. And, you know, this is just a sad moment for us Sixers fans. Hearing Sixers games will never be the same. But at the same time, I'm happy for Marc Zumoff. Congratulations on retirement. And I wish him the best of luck. Even more than just a great play-by-play guy. You know, he's a great person. He's humble. I've never met him. I would love to have him on one day. But I know he would probably accept that because he is such a nice, humble dude. And you can just tell from the type of guy he is. But man, Marc Zumoff, thank you for everything that you've done for Sixers fans. Thank you for being one of my inspirations. And we're going to miss you, man. We're going to miss you, but best of luck. Best of luck. It's sad to see you go. It'll never be the same. But anyway, getting into Danny Green. Yes, that is the man of today. Danny Green, as you all probably know, does his own podcast show. I think he's partnered with NBC. It's called Inside the Green Room. The link will be down in the description. And Danny Green does a podcast every, couple weeks. He did his season finale after the Sixers go down against the Atlanta Hawks. And I know I'm late on this, probably about 5 days late. Again, it was a busy weekend and all that stuff. But I just got around to listening to the last episode last night. And man, where there's some interesting comments out of Danny Green. We're going to look at one in particular today, but there was a whole segment talking about Ben Simmons. And before we even talk about that, just from listening to his podcast this year, look, I know Danny Green has his ups and downs. He's a streaky player. All I want to say, and we'll probably end up talking about this in the future, but I really hope the Sixers find a way to bring Danny Green back to this team. Not only is he a good player, I know his body is losing a step as he gets older, but he still has IQ. He still can hold his own, at least on defense. And, the way he played in the second half of the year, I know he didn't really get going in the playoffs, but he is just a great player to have in your locker room around young guys. He just turned 34 years old. And Danny Green is just a class act. I love this guy. I've grown to love him even more this season being on our team and the way that we got him. And, it's all just surreal, man. And, this guy's a 3-time champion. He's played for all these different teams. And he just knows how to win. Unfortunately, he got injured and we didn't see if he could have kept that streak up. But man, Danny Green, I hope that we find a way to bring him back this offseason. He would be great for our locker room with, whatever direction we go this offseason. But man, Danny Green is awesome. And even more than just on the court, he is a great leader. And just for example, in this podcast, he keeps it so real. Like, I listened to the whole thing and it felt like it went by in 1 minute because I was just agreeing with everything he said. And he's not afraid to hold back. And I respect that about Danny, and, he's a great player. But let's go ahead and listen to what he had to say when asked about, where the flaws were, especially with Ben Simmons and his mindset and all that stuff.
You could tell Ben's the type of kid, if he's not encouraged if he's not pushed or forced to do it, he's not the type to take that risk. Obviously, he's a high IQ guy. People think he's low IQ, but you could tell that he gets a lot of assists and pushes the pace, and he's gets paid to do what he does because he's so good at it. Mind you, he doesn't step outside that box because he doesn't, he knows well enough. Like, I'm good at this. I don't need to step out. Mind you, it's not like I'm encouraged to do this, or I'm kind of afraid to do this kind of thing. So I think they need encouragement and some type of push to do that, to not be scared to fail at trying something new. He's just one of those guys. I know what I'm good at, and I don't need to do anything else. So, and when the things that he's doing that he's good at isn't working as well, even though he played defense as well as he could for us and gave us dynamic of assisting the ball and finding guys and pushing the pace, we did need him to attack the rim and be more aggressive. But he felt like he was not getting his touch right, and also at the free throw line, it kind of crept on him mentally to where he wasn't able to get the rhythm he wanted.
Danny Green is, I mean, there's no better way to put that. That literally confirms all the beliefs that a lot of us made about Ben Simmons, especially us that kind of saw his demise this year, and especially in the playoffs. He said it straight up. We needed Ben to be more aggressive. Ben is that type of guy who lives in his comfort zone, and a lot of us have been saying that, man. Like, even since he did that interview last year where he talked about Brett Brown and some other things, where he said, I would rather shoot 40% than 30%. He doesn't want to come out of that comfort zone. He doesn't want to fail. He's a player, and you can see it. He tries to play perfect all the time. And, at this point of a career, it is kind of concerning. It is concerning, because it's concerning whether this man's going to be able to prolong a career, because he has all the attributes to be great. He can do everything else well. He can sustain himself, but where, his expectation level is, we expect this guy to be utmost great, man. We expect this guy to be a generational talent. And if you're not willing to fail and get better and learn from your mistakes, you're never going to hit that level. Danny Green talked about, obviously the free throws and all that was messing with his mind. Sure. But he said it, And Danny Green, he said he's not the only reason we lost. He said that later in the episode, like, it is a team loss, and I agree with that. But he straight up said it. Like, Ben Simmons had to be more aggressive. He even talked about Joel Embiid and said, he did everything he could fighting through an injury. He had to carry the load because of Ben Simmons, who wouldn't step up. And, I just think this is exactly right. Whether Ben, wants to get better, whether he has that will, I'll leave that up to your judgment. But Danny Green is exactly right. Ben Simmons is good with doing what he does. He doesn't want to be the guy with the ball in his hands. He doesn't want to be, the guy that everybody else looks around and looks at on the spotlight moment. He's not that type of player. It sucks because he has all the physical attributes to be great. But, that's just where Ben Simmons is at. And I commend Danny Green for not just being, a teammate that won't go out there and say the truth. And this confirms exactly what we've been trying to say. Ben Simmons just doesn't have that in him. He doesn't have that dog to go out there and fail 100 times and work on it and get better. It's just who he is. So it's unfortunate, but we will see what happens going forward in the future. Just wanted to throw that out there. Again, I know it's a bit late, but really good conversation right there by Danny Green. And I loved all his episodes all year. I hope he finds his way back to Philadelphia, because that is the type of accountability, even for Danny Green when he was injured and kind of being a, side coach on the sideline. That is the type of accountability and leadership that this locker room needs. I feel like championship teams always have a player like that on their roster. So that's just my take on it. You guys let me know all your thoughts down below in the comment section. What do you make of the comments? Does it confirm your beliefs as well? Give me all your thoughts. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll catch you on the next one, man. Peace.
Perfect.